So yeah, let's move on. Browns won this week. I'll give let it's a good week. We're on Victory Wednesday. It's a good week. Um, yeah, there's not much to say about it. We knew the Browns were probably going to win, and then they did. And I know there were some people still complaining after that game, but I'm just happy that we're coming off a victory, going into the two divisional games. Deshaun Watson looked fine on Sunday. Didn't look amazing. Didn't look like he was fully back, but the guy made enough throws, including one that this whole thing where people were like the first touchdown. Let's talk about the first touchdown specifically. The one that got deflected off the helmet went to Amari Cooper's hands. I understand that sometimes you just need a little bit of luck in football sometimes, and sometimes it's going to go your way. We're not used to it as Browns fans because usually those plays are happening against us.
Yes.
And especially the week before, especially. But there was that one clip of the guy right after the touchdown on CBS. The guy, it was amidst everybody like cheering in the Browns thing, and then you get to see this guy being like, "This team, this team is going to be the death of me." I don't know. I looked at it as okay. I think he even responded to somebody like I think it was to McNeil on Twitter. He was like, "Hey, that was me," and I was cheering when they didn't have the camera on me, yada yada. But I don't know. I'll take breaks like that any day of the week. Doesn't matter how good or bad a quarterback is. He made a couple big throws to Amari Cooper, which is good. We get to see those flashes of what those two can do. The running game, solid enough. Kareem Hunt coming back in. Jerome Ford making some big plays. Pierre Strong has come in as this third string back, kind of like what Dearness Johnson was the last two seasons when we needed somebody to fill in. And yeah, that defense made Arizona look like one of the worst teams in the NFL as they are. I mean, that's just the way it is. First shutout since the snow game of 2008 between against the Bills, which I vividly remember as a kid. One of my first ever Browns games that I remember from beginning to end because it was just white on the screen.
That was such a great game.
Yeah.
I vividly remember that game too. I don't think I'll ever the snow globe is what they called it, I believe. It was snowing a lot. So the Browns did what they had to do against a really bad team, a team that is actively tanking. Deshaun looked good. He did. No turnovers. His deep ball passes to Amari were perfect. A lot of his deep ball passes, anything over 15 yards, I felt like looked good. He showed some zip on that football, which is very promising coming back from that shoulder injury. You can call me crazy, but it's like I'm sitting here and I'm just waiting. I'm waiting for it to just happen. I'm waiting for it to be all put together. This man goes out and throws for 300 some yards and 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, just like he did in 2020 with the Texans. And call me a fool if you want, because I'm starting to feel like one. The more I continue to wait and see if it happens. But it was promising. Now, poor PJ Walker, because the same thing happened to PJ Walker last week in Seattle, only the ball happened to go to the Seattle Seahawks instead of the Cleveland Browns. Deshaun Watson is very lucky that ball went off the helmet because I truly do believe that pass is intercepted. Given how the play was being ran, where the safety was coming from over top, it looked like he was getting ready to jump that route. And that's why Amari was also so wide open then in the end zone off the deflection. But I have doubts about Deshaun still. I think it's fair. His footwork is not where it needs to be. And sometimes that can be all it is. We remember how it was with Baker and his happy feet. Sometimes when he got happy feet, he was terrible. At the same time, this defense is, I'm running out of words. I don't care if it was against the Cardinals. 58 net yards. Was that what it was? 58 net yards?
58 net yards, yeah, for the whole game.
These are professional athletes. These are guys who are also getting paid millions of dollars. These are guys who are trying to provide for the family. And you limited offense to 58 net yards. I don't care if it was a first start for somebody. I still remember going to Denver a few years ago facing Brandon Allen, and he torched the Browns. Okay. I still remember Scrubs torching the Browns. This defense is nasty. I do think they're the top defense in the NFL, especially when they're all healthy. We didn't have Greg Newsome on Sunday. And look at Mitchell, the corner. He stepped up. I thought he played phenomenal. Martin Emerson Jr. is coming into his own. Denzel Ward, who, knock on wood, has stayed healthy so far. The linebackers are playing well. Dalvin Tomlinson, my gosh, how great of a pickup has he looked like so far? I mean, you've now are able to see with other players along the defensive line, Mitch, the effect Myles Garrett can have in a game. Because he might not get every sack, but the way he can push the quarterback to move up in the pocket or to the other side of the pocket, and now with other really good players there on our defensive line to get him and take him down, 7 sacks. I mean, that's incredible. And now what I believe the Browns have the 3 lowest net yard offensive games in the NFL this year, if I'm not mistaken. I believe it is against the Cardinals, the Titans, and then the last one would
Bengals probably, right?
Bengals. Yeah, the Bengals. Yeah. And so this defense is legit, and they start off slow sometimes, but you won the must-win game. And you go into Sunday now, and I don't know what to think yet. I don't. Part of me wants to sit here and tell you they have a chance. Part of me on the other side wants to say they don't, because I truly do think, as it stands right now, the Baltimore Ravens are the best team in the AFC. I think the Chiefs look suspect. I think the Bills have been exposed. The Bengals all of a sudden are back to the Bengals. I'm not afraid of the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Chargers have Brandon Staley as their head coach. So I'll never be worried about them. It's the Ravens to me are the best team in the AFC right now. So the Browns have a chance to make a statement, not only to get a big time win, but to move yourself back within first place, obviously, because they've had to buy and Baltimore hasn't yet. But this is a huge game, and I'm not going to call it a must-win game. If they lose, though, the next week against Pittsburgh becomes a must-win game.
Oh yeah,
there's no doubt about it.
No, I mean, especially with the way that the AFC North is operating right now. First 2 weeks of the season, the AFC North admittedly did not look great. Did not look like a very competitive division. But the Ravens have won 4 in a row. The Bengals have won 4 in a row. The Browns defense is rolling. Pittsburgh wins games for some reason. This division right now, all of them would be in the postseason if the season ended today, which is so fascinating to me.
Crazy.
Just because of the way some other teams have kind of been playing middling football this season. Buffalo's down to 5-4. Houston's 4-4. The Chargers are 4-4. Vegas is 4-5. Jets are 4-4. That's the way it works. That's the way it works sometimes. And we're getting this sort of. It's not going to be. I don't think it's going to be AFC North teams all in the playoffs at the end of the season, but
at least 2, I'd say.
I would definitely say at least two minimum, because it's probably going to be Ravens and Bengals for me right now, but Browns can sneak in. Steelers can sneak in if they
can't.
Winning games in the fourth. Right, we already put up the clip. We put up the clip on our YouTube channel the other day. The Steelers are not a real. This is not a serious football team, and yet they still find ways to win games. Minus 30 point differential. Are you God for? All right.
Doesn't make sense.
All right. Let's move on.